Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for clicking this video. In the new year, I'm going to be going through all of these books, and I'm going to be reading 50 pages a day and pretty much taking the ideas that I think are the most important, impactful, and relevant, and then I'm going to be making a video about them in hopes that people will, if they don't have time to read 50 pages a day or watch a whole video on the entire book, that every day they could follow along and basically just take the best out of the books after I've pretty much synthesized it all for them. So the first book I've been reading is Atomic Habits, and I've opened this book and started it a lot of times, but for some reason could never get very far. And so today I got 50 pages in, obviously 55, and I wrote a lot of notes on it. However, the next 4 points are going to be the most impactful from the first 50 pages of the book that I found. And first of all, if you don't know anything about habits really, or maybe you do, but habits are really important because they allow you to make progress towards something or prevent yourself from falling backwards towards something you don't want without you having to think about it. So, for example, a habit would be getting up and the first thing you do is brushing your teeth. Or you get off work and you head straight to the gym. Like, that's just like, it becomes just what you do without thinking. And it allows you to have more mental energy to focus on more important things. And so I have made these points and will be making this video under the assumption you already kind of understand the benefit of having good habits, and maybe you're struggling to keep good habits. And the thoughts that I have written down here, all of this is honestly for me. It's to help me. Well, I've written myself a program for the new year that is a routine that I will stick to, that will be easy for me to stick to because I've done 75 hard and the 3 phases after 75 hard. And so I just kind of have that just do it kind of mentality where I can just force myself to do anything. But I appreciated these thoughts because they help it feel a little better. You'll see. So the first thing is probably the most impactful, I think, and I've actually used this before. I just needed to read this book to bring it out to the front of my mind. And that's, if you're having a hard time sticking to habits, it's because you haven't made that a part of your identity. And what I mean by that is it's one thing to say, like, yes, I'm going to like go to the gym from now on, and then you go for a week and then you stop. And that's because in your mind, it's not a part of your identity. Your identity isn't I go to the gym. Your identity is I'm trying to get into going to the gym. And so when you switch your identity to I'm someone that goes to the gym no matter how I feel, the next time you're like, okay, it's time to go to the gym. And that weak side of your mind says, we don't have to go, like whatever excuse, because you will sell yourself on some stupid excuse. Then the side of your mind that remembers that will be like, oh no, but we're someone that goes to the gym no matter how we feel or no matter what, and then you go. So that's the first one, and that's the first one I wrote. These aren't necessarily in order, because if I was going to give you guys everything I wrote down like 3 pages worth of notes, or 4. Yeah, 4. Anyways, the second thing is also really important. So in the book, James Clear talks a lot about in the start of it, which this is actually probably one of the most famous parts of the book, he says that if you get 1% better every day for a year, you will be 37.78 times better than when you started, just 1% a day. That's basically, let's just say you run 100 meters, and then you run 101 meters the next day. That kind of scale. It's almost nothing. Really, it's almost nothing. But if you get 1% better every day over the compounding interest that is self-improvement in time and in the time of the year, you will be 37.78 times better by the end of the year. However, if you get 1% worse every day for the whole year, by the end of the year, the number would be 0.03 of what you were. And so if you build yourself up really high, but then you have a bad year where you don't do anything and you only get 1% worse every day, you will be pretty much down to nothing. So like, you really need to be aware of this. And so the reason I prefaced with that for this point is when I was reading this, I thought of, because like you can either progress or regress or degress. I'm not sure which one it is. And I think of it as a needle. So if there's a needle like this and you're right here, and let's say a week goes by and so you got 7% better, another week 7, another week 7, another week 7. But then let's say 1 week you skipped everything, the needle moves back. And so basically you can move both ways, but every single choice you make is going to move the needle. It goes through the input. So if you make a bad choice, if you're over here, you might not really care or notice it goes like this. But if you let that get out of hand and it becomes a habit, you're just going to go this way, and you obviously don't want that. So you want all of your choices to be pushing the needle in the right direction. So let's say you're trying to quit a bad habit for my next point. And I thought this was really interesting because I've also used this trick before. I'm not sure if I read it in a different book. I have, I don't know if you can see it. Right there, this little white one is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, which is essentially, it gives a lot of the same ideas as Atomic Habits. That's one I read a couple years ago, so maybe it's in there. Maybe I saw it in a YouTube video, but the example that James Clear gives that it was really important to remember is similar to the first point I gave, where if you, he gives two smokers. Both of them are trying to quit. One smoker gets offered a cigarette and says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." You might think, hey, that's pretty good. He said, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." But then when the other smoker is offered a cigarette, they say, "No thanks, I don't smoke." It's going back to that identity part of it, which is they are completely eradicating this habit, idea, concept, thought process, everything out of who they are. So they're being brought some kind of, I'm just going to call it a stimulus, but they're being brought something and they're retraining their brain to say, no, this isn't me. No, this isn't me. No, this isn't me. I don't do this. I don't want this. I'm not this. I think that's really important because if you say, and this might actually be, so if you say, I'm trying to quit, subconsciously what you're admitting to yourself is smoking is a part of me. It is, because if it wasn't a part of you, you wouldn't say, I'm trying to quit, implying that there's something to quit, implying that you are that thing. So if you say, I don't smoke, well, I don't have any problem rejecting that cigarette. I don't smoke. And like, obviously, cigarettes is very physical, maybe mental with like hand to mouth. And so there's going to be some other reactions that happen in your body, but you do have the control and the power to quit with your mind. And so that's just a trick that or maybe not a trick, that's a trick you can use, but an idea or a concept that he shares that I wanted to share here. And so part of that, this ties into that, is decide who you want to be and then prove it to yourself. So you're going to decide, I don't want to smoke anymore. And then the next time you're offered to smoke, you just say, no thanks, I don't smoke. One small win. So now you're changing your identity to someone that doesn't smoke, and maybe compared to all the times you accepted the cigarette, that one is just another 1% out of the 100 times someone's offered you a cigarette and you've taken it. they offer it a different time, or someone else does, no, I don't smoke. Okay, that's 2%. And if you just do that every time, then you're going to get a lot better. And it will be easier for you to say, this isn't me or this is me, because you're proving it by your actions. And it might take a lot of effort at first, but after a month of that, no, I don't smoke. It's just second nature to come out, I don't smoke. That's not me, I don't smoke. So the last thing is something I have struggled with. And another kind of famous thing he says is that you should be focusing on, well, goals don't make you happy. And the reason he says that is when you are going towards a goal, it's basically a mindset of, I'll be happy once I reach this goal. And then when you reach the goal, it's so temporary. Not even just your happiness, but literally reaching the goal is such a small slice of time in the timeline of working towards the goal and going past the goal in your life. And so what he says is that you should focus on the process and focus on making systems. The person that thinks about their goal all the time and just thinks about it like, oh, I really want, like, let's say, for example, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Oh, I want us to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube so bad. Okay, wow, so bad. I'll upload a video here and there, like, oh man, I just hope I get it. Okay? But what he's suggesting you do is, what's the process to get 1,000 subscribers? Okay, you post a video once a week for 3 years, 1 year. Post a video every day for a month. I don't know. Whatever it is. It really depends how good you are and how, like, there's a lot of factors that go into that specific goal. So it can vary, but the point I'm making is, when you are trying to get somewhere, like if I wanted to drive to a city that's far away, I'm not going to get in my car, turn it on, start driving, and then just look at a picture of the city. That doesn't do anything. What I'm going to do is see what the road to getting to that city looks like, and then I'm going to pay attention to the road and I'm going to drive there. So for this example, for me, I will be posting a video every day. And I will be learning about YouTube algorithm, learning about how to make better videos, learning about how to keep people more engaged, things like that. And that way I can hopefully get to the goal. So you should have the goal, but then you should reverse engineer the process and make a plan and just stick to the plan and forget the goal. Okay, today did I film a video to the best of my ability after writing it to the best of my ability, making the description to the best of my ability, all of that stuff. And then if I do that, I allow myself to be happy because I completed that step towards my goal. And then before you know it, if you're just focusing on each step you've got in front of you, you'll make it towards the goal. My light turned off for some reason. All right. So that's honestly it. This video is longer than I thought. I'm not even going to edit it. I've got about 364 more videos before I expect anything out of this channel, really. So I'm okay to upload it like this. If you made it this far, I appreciate you watching. Consider giving it a like and commenting something that stood out to you or any questions you have. I'm really excited to do this because I'll be reading a lot and I'll be able to share a lot with you guys and hopefully earn some of your guys' trust and be able to make some kind of a difference in your lives. But with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.